Captain Jeff with Captain Jeff's Fun and Easy American History. Okay, we're still on this page. Like on this page, like I said, you've got this. You can take your snip tool, snip it out, and follow along with us. Put it in your computer memory or print it out. We're back today talking about the Kickapoo Indians. The Kickapoo Indians, now we're back into Wisconsin, Illinois. We have the three major tribes. We have the Kickapoo, the farthest north. Then we have the Sac, S-A-C, and then we have the Fox. These tribes were probably known most for the Black Hawk War. Black Hawk was a war chief, and in 1832, he revolted and started murdering on the countryside, and the white, now American militia met him and defeated him. It's in this war that Abraham Lincoln got his real combat experience. He was a captain, Captain Abraham Lincoln, and if you read Sandberg's Lincoln, it talks about Captain, oh my Captain, that's about Lincoln. If we go a little farther south into Illinois, into an area that at the time was Fort Dearborn. Fort Dearborn had been taken over by the American military after the War of 1812. And with the Americans in there, they had their families and they ran a trading post, and this was a community that they expected would develop eventually into a larger trading area, which it did. At Fort Dearborn, they were attacked by the Potawatomi tribe. We talked about the Potawatomi tribe in our last session. In that, they were attacked and wiped out, man, woman, and child in 1812. After the war, and after the War of 1812, and after control was regained in the area, that area was built up again, but it had a new name. The new name was Chicago. And right now today, you can see the monuments from old Fort Dearborn in Chicago. When we look at, go further west, and we're going west into Missouri now. The Osage were in Missouri. As a matter of fact, I got this information at Fort Osage that you can visit. Fort Osage is the northernmost point on the Santa Fe Trail down to Santa Fe, New Mexico, which was a key immigration route into the Southwest. When the settlers took over as Americans, because we took over the area from the French. If you recall, during the Louisiana Purchase, we'll talk about that a little later, the settlers met with an Osage chief. The Osage chief says, "You're welcome to the land, but it's going to cost you." And the settlers paid for it. And then another Osage chief says, "Well, you know, you talk to that Osage part of the tribe. Now we're another Osage part of the tribe. You're going to have to pay me too." So they paid him. Then the southern Osage came up and said, "Hey, look, you paid the two northern Osage tribes. You're going to have to pay me too." So they paid for Missouri 3 times, according to the fort. And the Osage moved to Arkansas. While they were in Arkansas, in 1808, they set up their tribal community, And we've heard about the Trail of Tears. We've moved ahead now to 1817, and one of the tribes that was moved there, along with the Creek and Seminole from farther south, were of course the Cherokee from North Carolina. Probably one of the worst points in American history was the Trail of Tears. But it wasn't without its altercations too. If we look at the need for maintaining a population, and it was important to maintain the DNA of a tribe and to maintain its growth, that's one of the reasons that raids were made, and the slaving raids by the Shawnee were made, was to keep the populations right and keep the DNA of the tribe right so it would stay strong. In 1817, the Cherokee attacked the Osage and killed 83 men and took over 100 captives. Again, having gone through this trail of tears, I'm sure the Cherokee, in their mind, said we have to replenish our own tribal population. This was that interchange as far as maintaining their borders for hunting grounds and controlling their populations. If we go further south, things were moving along down there. Anglos had gone into Texas, and the Spanish, of course, were intermingled with them. But not long after the Alamo, one of the key Indian tribes were the Comanche. They were a very warlike tribe, and again, one of the keys there for future immigration was the Texas Rangers would eventually defeat the Comanches. Interestingly, no. One of the reasons for the defeat was a Colt pistol. And the Colt pistol was named the Patterson pistol, one of the first repeating pistols, revolvers, in the Old West. And that was primarily responsible for the defeat of the Comanche because it could repeat fire. They actually began naming the pistol the Patterson after Captain Patterson, the Rangers chief, the Rangers captain. If we go further south, we had a town developing by the name of Swillers. Swillers, that's an odd name, but if you knew what the new name was, it wouldn't be so odd to you. Swillers was a fellow who came into an area that was run by an ancient tribe, the Hohokam. The Hohokam tribe was an agricultural tribe along the Salt River in Arizona. And in that they had irrigation canals all over the area. The Hohokam had disappeared as an ancient tribe. But this fellow by the name of Swillers came in and started opening up these old canals. Because the town regrew from the desert, they named it Phoenix. Today, that's where Phoenix, Arizona came from. In Phoenix, Arizona, New Mexico, we had a number of key chiefs that we should be aware of. These are Apache chiefs. The Apaches were one of the primary chiefs, Indians down there, along with the Yavapai, along with the Gila. We have the Navajo, the Hopi, the Pueblo, the Zuni, and the Yumas. The Apaches weren't liked much by the other tribes. The other tribes, in particular the Gila tribe, with the help of the settlers in Phoenix, would eventually cut the Apaches' strength by going into a major battle with them near Globe, Arizona, in the mountains there, where they pushed the Apaches up and off a cliff, and where you go and find these little black stones that look like onyx. They call them Apache tears. This is from that time. When they returned, the Gila Indians just couldn't go back to the tribe, even though they were victorious. They had to spend well over a month sitting outside, bathing and cleansing themselves before they would be allowed back in the tribe, because they were a very peaceful, although powerful tribe. As a matter of fact, even at that time, the Gila Indians were known for their excellence in pottery around the world. As we move farther north, there was a group of tribes. They were the Blackfoot, they were the Sioux, they were or Lakota, we had Pawnee, we had Arapaho, we had any number of tribes in that area. And these tribes we'll talk about a little bit more about in our next meeting. I hope you found this interesting. I like to think it's fun. You know, most students talk to me and they think history is all in grays and whites and blacks, but it's in great big technicolor. As these events went on, keep in mind that children were playing, people got married, people died, people were born, they danced, they sang, they had colors, they dressed up. They did all the things we did today. So when I talk about what we're talking about, whether it's white settlers or Indians or a little bit later with American French, and we're going to talk about that. Everybody had these same things as far as living life, and we'll talk about that. See you next time. Bye-bye.